Hello guys, we have a 7-game NBA slate for Sunday, so it's going to be tipping off an hour earlier than usual. So with the first game, Washington at Brooklyn, Westbrook will be back. There's only two teams that are going to be on the first end of it back-to-back, so not going to be concerned for the Wizards here. Westbrook, 10.2K against Brooklyn. This is a matchup where, again, we're going to see KD against Russ, but I think 10.2K still, regardless of if you're into narratives or not, this is still a solid price tag for Westbrook because if you're looking at what he's been doing this year, triple doubles in all 4 games he's been in, this is a solid player that is pretty much has a floor of 50 points so far, and this guy has upside that we just haven't seen because his drives to the basket, they haven't been as great as they usually are. Like, it's not at his typical Westbrook averages. So when he does start getting everything going, he actually can do a lot better than what he's doing right now. So Westbrook, 10.2K, going to be in play. Bradley Beal, not as much just because Westbrook just soaks up so much usage. And with Hachimura back, it just hurts all of these other guys for the Wizards. Brooklyn side, Kevin Durant, Kyrie, they're still underpriced. I think KD should be closer to 10K. Now, Washington, they're not a good defender or defensive team. KD, 9,300, it's too good of a price tag. I'm still going to like KD for every one of these good matchups that he gets. So going to be my preferred net over Kyrie, but Kyrie still, he looks pretty solid as well. And then for Harris, LeVert, Allen, they're just kind of a little bit too pricey for me, even with Dinwiddie out. Lakers side of the ball, LeBron's questionable, but he's been playing through it, so he's probably going to play again. Now, Memphis, there's some blowout concerns with Ja out, so if you're concerned about that, I think there's definitely other guys like Doncic that I would rather pay up for. But LeBron, he's going to be in play, same with AD. KCP is questionable, but that injury shouldn't affect too much. Minutes can just go to Wesley Matthews, Taylor Horton-Tucker, so not too much for the Lakers side. Now, if you think this game stays close, then Memphis, you should definitely play someone because with Ja out, there's going to be a lot of usage for Kyle Anderson, Dillon Brooks, and of course Joe Val. So they did start Brandon Clark last game, and I think that that might have been due to just Grayson Allen being out. Now, Grayson Allen could be back for this game, but D'Anthony Melton is actually going to be back, so it could mix up the rotation a little bit. But other guys, like the core guys of Brooks, Anderson, and Joe Val, they should have their minutes pretty secure as long as this game is close. So Joe Val, AK, I think that it's a tough matchup against Gasol, but still, Memphis, they're going to need their big man to really get it going. And Joe Val is someone that has a 60-point ceiling. Now, it is tough to see him getting 60 against Marc Gasol, but again, Joe Val does have that kind of upside. Now, Kyle Anderson, Dillon Brooks, I think I prefer Brooks actually because of just how much of more of an offensive threat that he is than Kyle Anderson. Anderson needs to get rebounds and assists. Now, Anderson has had the opportunity, but now you're talking about D'Anthony Melton being back, which could hurt Kyle Anderson's ball handling opportunities. And also, with his rebounds, the Lakers are a very good rebounding team. So, Kyle Anderson could struggle a little bit, not going to get like his 11 rebounds. So, I think Brooks, I prefer him over Anderson, but none of these guys are going to be core plays. I think Melton probably, if he's not on a limit, 3,700. I know it says that he could be, but we don't really know that because he's been out for 10 days, and he's someone that has been pretty productive in the past we've seen, and he's just a combo guard. And if Grayson Allen is out, that's going to help Melton as well. Now, Denver side, Jokic was in foul trouble last game. Porter's still going to be out, so that helps Will Barton. Murray finally had a good game last time. Now, the play that I prefer here, I think I would go with Murray or Barton because Jokic at 2.6K, I really like Luka, who I'll get to. And this is a very good matchup for Denver. It could very well be a blowout, but, I mean, Jokic against Naz Reid, that is definitely not something to fear. So Jokic has crazy upside. Like, he's been so great to start the season. It's pretty much like Westbrook. There's a triple-double threat every time, and he's been just playing as well as you can. He's an MVP candidate as of now. Now for Murray, Minnesota, they don't have any good defenders. So Murray, he can definitely do it, and especially with Porter out, that's a lot more usage. That's something that is very important to note. With Porter out, Murray and Jokic definitely see boosts. Will Barton, he played a lot of minutes last time. He shot really poorly. He didn't really do a whole lot, but I mean, you score 2 real-life points and you get 18 DraftKings points, that's pretty good. So if he's able to get it going, score the ball a little bit more, second game, working with these starters, it's not a new team. Like, it's just a different role now. He was a starter before. Now, I think Barn can definitely have a solid game here. And then with Jermichael Green back, it hurts Paul Millsap because he's basically, he's nowhere near as good as Jeremy Grant, but the role for his team, he can steal those minutes that Jeremy Grant was stealing last year from Millsap. Gary Harris, he could be a value play, 3,800. He's very shot dependent. Like, he's not going to do a whole lot of anything else. So if you get a game where he does get looks, and he does shoot well, 3,800, he'll pay it off. But very low floor. Minnesota side, D'Lo, he has to have a good game sometime. Like, I know it's coming. With Towns still being out, D'Angelo Russell's up, his usage just skyrockets, and Malik Beasley's a very good scorer as well. And then you insert Ricky Rubio, who is a pass-first guard that can help get scores the ball. It should help D'Lo, actually. So I think that D'Angelo Russell, he'll have that game. Denver's defense isn't as good as last year, but still there's Gary Harris, so he's a very good defender. But D'Angelo Russell's definitely someone that is streaky, so if he does get hot here, he can have a 50-plus point game. Beasley, he's very points dependent, so I would just rather go with D'Lo. Like, I know it's a big price difference, but still, Malik Beasley just not someone that I want to roster here. But then Ricky Rubio himself, 5K, I think he has an upside. He has sneaky good steal upside, and his assist, as usual, we know what those can be like. And without Cat, Naz Reid isn't as good of a rebounder. So guys like Ricky Rubio, they can rebound a little bit better, helps just their rebounding rates. On to Utah. Gobert wasn't fouled from the last game, and Derek Favors is questionable, so maybe if Favors misses, that helps Gobert's minutes a little bit, but they probably just spread those minutes out to someone else for a different big man. Royce O'Neal is probable. Now, Donovan Mitchell and Gobert. Mitchell has more tournament upside, but Gobert is definitely a lot safer. Now, the Spurs, they're not as tough of a matchup as we've seen in the past. They're not as good as a defense, and also they just play a lot faster. So I like Mitchell and Gobert a lot. I think I prefer Mitchell for tournaments because he just has a lot more upside, but I really do like Gobert as well. Now, Mike Conley is someone that I think is going to get some interest because of 2 50-point games, but he's someone that I'm going to completely fade, and here's why. The Spurs, yes, they're not as great of a matchup as I just said, but Conley has done it because of a crazy near triple-double game here and a crazy 7 for 14 3-point game. This is not his game. He is more of like a 15 and 6 assist kind of guy that's a very short ball handler and a good defender. So these games are not what we should expect, and if you're counting on 30 DraftKings points, 1,600, that's just not good enough for tournaments. So Conley, someone I'm going to completely fade. Spurs side, Aldridge is questionable. Derek White's actually going to be out. So that's going to help Lonnie Walker. 4,200, tough match against the Jazz, but he's someone that has upside, and his minutes should be trending up because White's going to be out. So I do see a lot of good upside for Lonnie. Poeltl, very concerning against Gobert. Big guy, going to be tough to box out, but he has some upside. We haven't seen it in the 2 last games, but Lakers are a tough matchup as well for centers, so maybe their matchup can help get Poeltl going if Aldridge is out. Now, for Murray and DeRozan, they're going to be in play, but again, Utah is a very good defensive team. I prefer going to DeRozan. It's only a $700 or $800 difference, so I'd rather go with DeRozan. He's actually been taking threes again this year, so that definitely helps his fantasy outlook a little bit. And if Aldridge is out, then that just helps his rebounds, and he's someone that's been getting a lot of assists these past 2 seasons. On to Dallas. Luka Doncic would be my thumbnail, but because we don't know if he's going to play or not, I'm not going to do that. But if you did, then yes, he's my favorite play. If he does play against the Bulls, this is just too cheap for Luka. He still didn't shoot all that well, and he was able to get 58 DraftKings points. Now, I don't expect 15 rebounds again, but Chicago is a very poor rebounding team that I could still see him get like 10. And for the assists, this is what Luka does. And honestly, we've seen triple-doubles in the past, a lot of them. So I really like Luka. 10K is too cheap against the Bulls. Now, if Luka is out, all these guys are going to be in play. Jalen Brunson is going to see the biggest bump. He would just be an absolute lock for cashing in tournaments. And then, if Luka is out, then PHA, Josh Richardson, all very much in play. DFS, Kleber as well. Kleber is probable. So just a lot of these Mavericks are going to be must plays pretty much. Core plays if Luka is out. Now if Luka is in, then probably going to stick to one, just Luka. But you can definitely play like 2 or 3 even because of just how great this game environment should be for the Mavericks. Now, on the Bulls side, I think you definitely can run it back with Zach LaVine. Josh Richardson's a good defender, but LaVine is a very talented offensive player that his usage rate has gone up to 42%. Now, that's more of an outlier, but LaVine isn't the same type of like dunker, athletic type player that he is. He's a very polished offensive player now. He can shoot the three. His rebounds and assists have been up because he's athletic. He's able to get these rebounding numbers. They're sustainable. In his blocks and steals, he hasn't ever been known as a good defender, but he's getting the stats, and that's what we care about for fantasy. So for 7,300, if it's a close game, he's going to play massive minutes. He's very much in play. Kobe White with Satoransky still out. He's in play as well, 6,200. Someone that can go cold or hot, so it's really only for tournaments, but he can have 40-plus point upside, and this is certainly a price tag that we should jump on him because it is trending down. Now, for value, Thaddeus Young is still someone we can look to with Lauren Marketing out. Minutes aren't going to be too great, but into the 20s, mid-20s, we can definitely see him return value at only 3,900. Clippers side, Kawhi with him back, it definitely hurts everyone on the team. So, if I was going to go to any Clipper, it would just be Kawhi. But other guys, like for the value, with Morris still being out, Batum, he's going to start, but there's just not a lot of upside when he's 4,800. Lou Williams, just not someone I'd go to when both Paul George and Kawhi are in. So Clippers not really a team I want to target. Phoenix side, I like him. Booker and Chris Paul, they're a lot cheaper, especially Booker and Aiden. And even though Kawhi and Paul George are two very elite perimeter defenders, Devin Booker is someone that can easily go off against anyone. So 7,700, this game, Booker's going to have to do a lot to keep this game close. Obviously, he has Chris Paul now, so that should help. But Booker has definitely a lot higher upside than Chris Paul, and he's just someone that I would rather target. I think you can go to Chris Paul as well, but he's just not as appealing. Now, for DeAndre Ayton, 7,100, he finally had that game. Like, I've been talking about this guy for so long. When he's not in a foul trouble or blowout, this is what he can do. And the Clippers, Serge Ibaka, they're going to be better against centers this year than they have been, but still, Ayton is bigger, stronger than Ibaka. And with Chris Paul being on the team now, it helps Ayton. His field goal percentage should be up. Just his rolls, everything. He's going to be a better player. So I like DeAndre Ayton. He has very good upside at 7,100. This is too cheap for him. And then, not going to really play the value guys from this team. Down to the last game, Portland. Yusuf Nurkic going to be my favorite play. He would be my thumbnail as well, because I put him on the last time they're on this slate. I'm not going to do it again, but he had 6 and 7 in the first quarter in 6 minutes until he got 2 fouls. Now, James Wiseman is banged up, so he's playing hurt now against Nurkic, someone that Nurkic just dominated last time, and because of foul trouble, because of blowout, he wasn't able to get there. But in 18 minutes, he got 23. If this game is it doesn't even have to be competitive. Like, if he just gets 3 quarters, he's not in foul trouble, he can absolutely smash 6,400. So he's one of my favorite plays of the slate. Golden State, just not a great team this year, even with Draymond Green back. Draymond's limited. Nurkic, he's way too talented to be this cheap. Now, for Lillard and McCollum, they're fine, but I would probably prefer Lillard over McCollum now, just because of the price. It's definitely inching closer. Now, Rokos, 5K, still in play. His 3-ball hasn't been that great, but 11 rebounds, not something that we should expect. But just his shooting. If we get more threes, which he's very capable of hitting like 5 threes in any given game. And Derek Jones Jr., he had a very good game, but that's another wing. So if those looks go to Rocco, I'm not saying that that's how it works, but Rocco has a very good near 40-point ceiling. In 5K, he's way too talented of a player to be this cheap against the Warriors, who do turn the ball over a lot. Now, Derek Jones Jr., I'd just rather go to Rocco. Rocco's the better player. Gary Trent, Ronnie Hood actually going to be out, so that maybe helps some of these guys down here, but still, I'm going to focus on Nurkic and Rocco. Golden State side, they just have not been good this year, so I don't really want to target them. If I were playing Lillard, I'd probably want to get Curry on the other side. Oubre's fine, 6K, but he hasn't been that great, and with Draymond back, it hurts some of these guys. James Wiseman, 5,200. He is cheap enough, but with Draymond back, he actually can play a lot of center, so it hurts Wiseman a little bit. And also Wiseman, he's someone that does get into foul trouble that we've seen throughout the start of the season. So really not that great of an appealing of a team. So favorite plays, I would put Luka, but because of him being questionable, I'm not going to for the thumbnail. But he's going to be a core play as of now. I'll update that if he's going to be out. And then Portland side, Nurkic, same thing. He would be my thumbnail as well if I didn't have him on the last time. And then Zach LaVine, he is someone that will be probably in a lot of my lineups, whether Luka plays or not, because this game should be close either way. And then because I've picked kind of like expensive dudes, I think Thaddeus Young gonna be the top value play right now because we just don't have the news with the Mavericks and with all the other 6 games. And then I think I'd stick with these 4, but because I usually give 5, D'Anthony Melton. Obviously, this is only if he is not on a limit because he's very productive if he's not. And with Morant, a lot of the injuries on the Grizzlies side, Grayson Allen possibly, it's going to help Melton if he's not on a limit. Like, he can definitely close the game as well, ahead of, like, Brandon Clark. So, I like Melton if they're not, like, any better value plays that pop up. So, it's really Luka, Nurkic. Those are my favorite, like, absolute favorite plays. And there's LaVine, Thad Young, and Melton for value. So, that's the core 5 for this Sunday slate. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like before you go and subscribe to the channel. You can leave a comment. I'll make sure to get back to you. Or DM me on Twitter @Bobfuls. Link will be in the description below. So good luck on the slate, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.